One of the members of our church, Becky Archer-Inskeep, was in a Bible study, and near the end of the Bible study, Becky said, I need some prayers. I have a problem at my house that I don't know how to deal with.
I had been in a bad place in my life after I lost my husband suddenly, and when I finally realized I had this water leak, it was in an inner closet. It wasn't pleasant and it was damp, and I spent a lot of time at the church and did certain things at the church because I frankly couldn't stand to be inside my house for very long.
One of the members of that group was a gentleman by the name of Gaylord Hubert, and Gaylord is a retired plumber. And he said, Becky, I can come over and look at your problem.
He fixed the leak that was going on. It was a small leak that was behind a closet wall. It had also done some damage in a variety of places because it had been leaking for a while. So he came back to me and kind of shared with me a little bit of the situation, that it was not an easy situation for her to be living in, and that it was also not going to be a quick and easy fix.
Pastor Danny gave me a call, knowing what the Nomads do, and asked if I could go with him to take a look at Becky's house and see if there was something maybe we could do to help.
The Nomads is a United Methodist group of folks that are retired, that own RVs, and we travel around the country rebuilding churches, parsonages, houses, helping in disaster relief areas. And we met with Danny and Bart, and Mike and I went there and looked at the project. Mike and I knew it was more than we could take on to go do the tear out and mold remediation and things that needed to be done. And that's where Bart jumped in.
My neighbor, Rob Probus, is a minister here at the church. And I was walking the dogs and he rolled up and was like, hey, I have a question. Would you talk to Danny at our church? They're working with a couple guys and a group called the Nomads. Would you be willing to talk to them about, taking care of the cleanup and the demo of the home to get the process started?
So they stepped up and gave us a really great deal to do the remediation, to do all of the tear out. They looked at it and they said, we can do this.
They were truly professionals. They were professionals with a heart. It's kind of like the minute we met Bart, there was connection there, and he went right in with us and said, I've got to get inside and look at it to tell you what's going on. Then Rachel and her crew came in and did a tremendous job making it possible for us to get in and do what we needed to do. Zach came in, did the mold remediation. Like I say, they were just professionals every step of the way. They made the initial portion, the tear out and the mold remediation, such a breeze. It was we just had to stay out of the way while they went in there and did it. They were all over the place. It was amazing.
And it took them about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And at the end of that time, they turned it over to Brad and I, and that's when we began working on the project of restoring Becky's home.
It was kind of a God thing, because every time we got to a certain point, the right person with the right skills showed up at the right time. When we needed something special, the plumber would show up at the right time, or the retired electrician would show up at the right time. The retired contractor would come in and help us set the doors and put in the baseboard and those things.
Patsy Porter and a partner of hers, Sandy Miller, the two ladies, they took on the responsibility of making the house a home again once we had finished the construction part of it.
What started with one man going to a house because we heard of a leak grew into the house just being completely renewed. And starting from one person, hearing about one person who cared, eventually saw a whole community of church, but not just a community of church, but others in the community.
Everyone in the company lives in a community, right? I live in this community. We get requests. Everyone has the opportunity to serve their individual community, and the Michaelis Corporation is very sensitive to the fact that with that engagement in your community, good things happen. So this is just one of those opportunities that we got, just on the off chance that I live down the street from one of the ministers here, and he asked a question while I was walking a dog.
Becky is a big part of our church. Not a single person did we touch, contact, that said no, they wouldn't help. They were all in line wanting to help.
The most rewarding part is knowing that Becky now has a safe place to live.
My late husband and I started building the home in 1999. It's a beautiful house again, and I hope my husband knows how good it is now. I had so many people from my church and people I don't even know have volunteered to do things to make my house beautiful and safe and livable. And I could never thank them enough, because they made my house so nice, and they've literally saved my life.
If we all think about it, isn't this really the world we want? And if so, how can we do that for one another? We live busy lives, and so sometimes we miss the joy of being with each other.